Hello, my amazing listeners. How are you today? It's so good to be with you. I am recording this episode with some emotion, actually. I was talking with a client and we're talking about this doctor visit that I'm going to describe a little bit for you here in a minute. And it was a stark reminder to me of my own experience. And I thought, oh my gosh, I forgot about how hard that was. I forgot about that experience and how that experience alone was so traumatic and life-changing for me. I know not everyone is going to have the same experience around this situation, but this definitely speaks to the difference in women who are going through divorce because of betrayal versus a woman who's going through divorce because they decided to go different ways or whatever. There's so many reasons to divorce, right? But the reason why I wanted this podcast to be out there is because there are pieces like this story that I'm going to share with you today that are really linked to this type of divorce, this experience that you've had of betrayal in your relationship. And so one thing that a lot of women I work with, myself included, who experience their husband at the time acting outside that marriage, often get trickle disclosures, meaning you get a little truth here and a little truth there and never the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And most often you will get more and more towards divorce, or even after leaving the relationship, you feel even more in the dark and more confused and more dumbfounded about how this person you thought you knew could do such terrible things, because more and more of that truth will trickle out. And yet you're still never going to get the full truth, right? So when the acting out as you knew it was perhaps with pornography or masturbation or online sites, when that moves to acting out outside of the marriage with another human being, you're left with not only more shock and despair, but now physical concern around your health and possibly exposure to disease. And it's another loss of health or loss of feeling safe in your body. This is very real. It's devastating, and it can bring upon you an anger and a rage like you've never experienced before. You didn't ask for this. You didn't know about this, which is why this is abusive. So now, besides grieving the loss of a dream, expectations of fidelity, and adjusting to a new life, new spaces, new challenges, you are now dealing with the doctor visit that you never thought you'd have to make. And that is the STD testing. Just big, deep sigh, deep breath, and a big hug. Today, I really just want to validate those of you who have had this experience and those of you who might be avoiding this testing experience. My desire is to attempt to offer you support from afar as you do what you need to do for your body, for your safety, and for your peace. I remember it was probably a year after my divorce, and I was already into my business, my cleaning business, and I was scrubbing a bathroom. And I have the image of the bathroom in my mind, and I was cleaning the bathroom, of course, ruminating thoughts, lots of intrusive thoughts, lots of trying to put pieces together, because that's a thing, right? When you do have the trickle disclosures, when you don't have full, your brain is still doing a lot of work on trying to put the story together, right? So it was doing that as I was cleaning. And I was scrubbing the bathroom floor, and I had this connection. Like all of a sudden I made this connection, my brain did, of the fact that he had an affair, and most likely lots of affairs. So says my gut. And I had no idea when those happened in my marriage. And yet I know that I had been sexually active with him during. So holy shit, I have to get tested for sexually transmitted diseases, and God knows what else. And that hit me so hard, that connection of another way that I didn't have choice over what happened to my body, which is why this is abusive. And I started crying right there as I was scrubbing the bathroom floors. One more betrayal, one more shock, one more loss, one more thing I had to freaking do because of his choices. I sent him a text in that moment. I said something to the effect of, "Did you use protection? I have a right to know." No answer. And honestly, even if he had answered and said yes, there was absolutely nothing indicating that it would be truthful or that I could trust that. So that was really pointless. But my next call was to the doctor to set up an appointment. And this might sound dramatic to some of you, but sitting there in that doctor's office waiting for this test felt like I was waiting to hear my death sentence. Like I had no idea what was in my body because of his actions. I had no idea what might be happening in my body because of his lies and abuse, where I just made this connection. And this had happened years ago and for who knows how many years, right? And so who knows what's happening inside of my body that I haven't been aware of. That's that's a horrible feeling. It was for me. It was a horrible feeling for me. I was scared. I was alone. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed to be there. I remember thinking, and this is raw, I'm super vulnerable, but I'm gonna share it anyways. I remember thinking, will the doctor believe me when I tell him that I'm only here because I just made this connection and found out that my ex had been cheating? Probably not. Maybe that's what they all say. And maybe he's really thinking that I'm a whore, that I'm a slut, that I'm dirty, that I'm worthless, that no one will ever want to be with me again. I remember thinking how much I hate him, I loathe him, and I had never hated so much in my life at that moment. I did tell the doctor why I was there, and I watched for his eyes to any clue that as to if he believed me or not. I was so angry that at that point, if I did catch an A roll, I probably would have punched him. He didn't roll his eyes, but it was cold. His reaction, it was emotionless. And now I found myself wanting his empathy, wanting his compassion. I wanted it in I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you have to be here in this place and spend your hard-earned money to get tested, to only lie on this cold lined bed with cheap paper naked and be even more vulnerable with scared parts exposed, to, in a sense, even be violated again, all because of the choices of someone that you trusted, loved, and cared for. I remember thinking, is this hell? Possibly. I know I disassociated at that point because I don't have a memory of what happened after, no memory of getting dressed and walking out and anything. I don't have a memory of clicking the elevator button, walking to my car. I'm sure I cried, but I don't remember. So if you've had this experience because of your partner's choices, I am truly sorry. I am aware that not everyone will have the same experience emotionally to this process. And I hope yours isn't traumatic. But if it is, you are not alone. And again, I am sorry. Please know that you have a right to know what's going on in your body, that this is hard, but necessary to fully know the truth of your story, your experience. And yet, all of this still does not mean anything about your worth, your value, or your lovability. This does not make you less enough in some way. It doesn't make you dirty. It doesn't make you broken. You are doing a very hard thing. Owning that this part of your experience, but not you, is really key to healing here. So if you have yet to take that dreaded walk into the doctor's office, then I want to invite you to thought dump around this and feel some support from me and other women who have been there. Make the appointment so that you can be in charge of your health, of your body, and of your healing. This is how you take back your power and own this part of your journey as well. I also want to invite you to journal around this particular loss and give yourself space to grieve this part as it's another way that you've been impacted. Feel free, please, to reach out for more support. Join my divorce support group where that first 12 weeks is going to be free for you. You can take advantage of the free divorce Q&A every month. And for those of you who are ready to take your healing to that next level and really start gaining traction around your goals and creating the life that you want, this new life, and having some tools and concepts to navigate that, then my Believing in You group coaching program is going to be a fit for you. There are a few spots left. It starts next week, April 5th. I would love to have you. It's an amazing group of women. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening and thank you for letting me be vulnerable in my journey and my story. I hope it helps you. Take care, everyone.